Ian with Mew VMAX up against, it looks like Duraludon. Both 5-0. Looks like Duraludon Arceus here on the right side. It is Ian. Okay. Okay, round 6, Mew VMAX versus Duraludon Arceus, both 5-0. Ian versus Dominic. See, it's the Tower of Darkness build of the Mew VMAX deck. Nothing ridiculously priced here. The 2 Tower of Darkness could be a little bit weird here for Ian because once what's it called, sticks in play, the collapsed stadium, it can be hard to move. So that could be something that comes up, to be honest. That's the only thing that, like, when I look at these prize cards, that looks like it would be super relevant. Nothing else is, like, really that big of a deal that's prized on either side. Like, double evolution incense, I guess that could be annoying to find your evolutions, whatever. The escape rope's prize, so you lose some cheeky plays on, like, turn 2, but you have it pretty early on. So, yeah, nothing huge, I don't think, either on either side. I guess the double Tower of Darkness is a little bit... makes Collapse Stadium be a little bit more annoying, potentially, to bump and move out of the play. But we'll see if it matters. It looks like Mew's going first. Battle VIP pass. So just going to want to try and set up for that turn 2 boss KO on something. Just like maybe you chase the Arceus, maybe you chase the Duraludon, whatever. And then on Dominic's side, going to be trying to find that turn 1 Trinity charge. That's going to be what Dominic's looking for to a Duraludon. And if they do get it on the Duraludon, that is where you want to chase that Duraludon as Ian. So you see they got a Chromatic and a Quick Ball, and yeah, it goes with the Chromatic on the Escape Rope. I don't know if I like that. Escape Rope's pretty important to just get to the active, but also Escape Rope's just like really, really good in this matchup. But the other cards look pretty good. I mean, they had the Rotom Phone. They could have done it to the Rotom Phone, to be honest. They could have Chromatic the Rotom Phone because you need to get the Mew to the active eventually anyways, but also Escape Rope's just insanely good in this matchup. So Escape Rope's just insanely good in this matchup. Getting a Meloetta, getting a Mew looks good to me. Double Meloetta, actually. I don't know if I like that. Why do you want double Meloetta here? Did they prize? No, they only prized 1 Mew. It's like, did they prize all their Mew? Yeah, why do you want double Meloetta here? Quick Balls away the Mew VMAX. Love to see that. And it actually makes me almost think like they maybe should have Chromatic and got something else besides a Battle VIP pass. You're drawing 1 less card, but you could have got like an energy this turn in play. You could have got like a Fusion Strike energy in play on the Mew, and then Quick Balled for Meloetta. If you really want to, I don't know about double Meloetta though. I don't think double Meloetta makes a whole ton of sense. And like in my head, double Meloetta, especially if you're attaching the. Well, no, I guess that makes sense to put that. Well, no, it doesn't make a ton of sense to put there. If you're playing it, so if you're taking double Meloetta, you plan to attack with Meloetta. For Meloetta to KO anything potentially next turn, you need a modifier. So the choice, it makes no sense to grab double Meloetta if you're planning to attack with Meloetta. If you take 1 Meloetta and another Mew, then you're like, okay, I'm attacking with Mew, but I want the option of, you know, the Mew attack. The choice spell should always go on a Meloetta. Like, so I think double Meloetta is incorrect, but they're committed down the double Meloetta line, which means they're attacking with Meloetta. But then the choice spell should also go on a Meloetta because you're going to be attacking with Meloetta. So this makes no sense, absolutely no sense, because like you first shouldn't be taking double Meloetta. That doesn't make any sense to begin with. But if you're committed to this double Meloetta line, sure, like you think this is right, maybe you played the matchup and you're like, all right, but then the choice spell should go on a Meloetta because you plan to attack with Meloetta. So this makes absolutely no sense. No, putting the choice spell on the Mew. All right, first 5. Yeah, I didn't, like I said, getting rid of the escape rope there, this is probably wrong as well. Like getting the escape rope is just insanely good. First off, you have to get the Genesect out of the active so you can attack with anything. So that's one of the cards you're going to be looking for on your next turn. So I think that is incorrect as well. Keeping the Rotom Phone, I'm pretty sure, is just wrong. And you should have just Chromatic away the Rotom Phone, hold the escape rope. So no matter what, even if you're not trying to pull up something off their bench, for you just to attack next turn, the Mew has to be in the active. But the escape rope is insanely powerful in this matchup because they play so few Pokemon. You can sometimes, it basically is boss. Escape rope is basically boss in this matchup. So yeah, getting rid of the escape rope I think is also a mistake as well. They should have actually just like Chromatic away the Rotom Phone. When you're drawing 5 cards, Rotom Phone's like basically nothing. Rotom Phone's really good to move those, you know, 4 or 5 card kind of clunked up hands, or to like, you know, dig really deep for like that 1 of draw off that last Genesect. But in this situation, you just Chromatic that away. Keep the escape rope in the hand. Might want to use it as Gust Effect. Maybe you can discard it next turn or later in the game. Whatever. Yeah, and then even puts the Fusion Strike energy on the Mew. Like if you're gonna get double Meloetta, the Fusion Strike energy goes on the Meloetta. So once again, just poor choices here from Ian. Has a Chromatic to go with. What is that? So it has Ultra Ball, Cramomatic, Battle VIP Pass, but then chooses to Ultra Ball away the Cramomatic and the... I don't like this either. So this is basically what the other player was doing. This is what John was doing as well, is you're discarding your discard cards with your discard cards. So that means later on in the game, you're going to have cards in your hand that you won't be able to discard because you discarded all your discard cards with your discard cards. But you could just Cramomatic this Battle VIP Pass and then keep the Ultra Ball. And then the Ultra Ball lets you discard more cards that you can't discard anyways. So I don't like this play either. I would just play the Cramomatic on the Battle VIP Pass, hold the Ultra Ball, draw some cards. Because you can easily get into situations where you draw cards, and then because you don't have any cards to discard cards, your hand just gets stuck. Because you discarded all your discard cards with your discard cards. Ultra Ball for Mew VMAX. And it's a mistake that I made a couple times as well. Second Genesect coming in for 3. Has options here. Goes with a Rotom Phone now. Cramomatic on top, it looks like. Let's see if they use that third Genesect or not. They probably will. Genesect for 1. Do they even have any cards to discard out of this hand? No, just ends up passing with the Cramomatic on top. Okay, seems fine. Hand here from Dominic looks not great, but maybe can actually pull off the Mustard, actually. I think maybe can pull off the Mustard. Doesn't have the Trinity Charge, but might have the Mustard. So that's pretty good. All right, so this is actually pretty solid here from... Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong, I guess. Oh, no, it does have the Mustard. Okay, cool. But why are we attaching to the active Arceus here? This attachment is terrible. This is basically asking your opponent to knock out your only energy in play. At first, I was like, okay, they're attaching here because they have to, but they have another Arceus on the bench. They literally just Ultra Balled for another Arceus. So attaching to your active Arceus never makes any sense here, because basically you're saying, just knock out my only energy in play, please. And you're just giving it up to them. Now if they have a switch, they just have it. Or they can go like DTE active, Elsa Sparkle Retreat, knock out their active as well. So it'd be one thing if they had to attach it there to get the Mustard off, but they got another Arceus in play through the Ultra Ball, so they could have just attached to the bench Arceus. Maybe a little bit of a brain fart here, but definitely a mistake here as well by putting the energy on the active. Definitely a mistake by putting the energy in the active. And because of the Collapse Stadium, we see Ian not get punished too hard because they got Collapse Stadium, they get to discard the Meloetta. So the double Meloetta, they didn't actually get punished too hard here for putting the 2 Meloetta in play. They didn't get punished too hard because they just get to discard one now, and then that's just kind of fine. Because the Meloettas fall off pretty aggressively in this matchup, just because usually how it plays. Like, you don't really build up to like a 4 Fusion Strike energy play that matters, because like eventually the Duraludons are online. So mistake here on Dominic's side, a pretty big mistake here on Dominic's side as well, actually, with the energy on the active as opposed to the benched Arceus. We'll see if they get punished at all or not. There's the pass. So the energy's just on the active here. Just big chillin' on the active. So now Ian just needs switch knock out the active. And could have even, like I said, could have actually used the escape rope last turn at the beginning of the turn just to put the Mew in the active. Here using escape rope isn't that good. But they usually don't get the Mustard off without having to use Starburst. So getting this turn 1 Mustard like this was pretty fortunate for Dominic. So now we're looking for a switch here for Ian, or like I said, you could even go DTE plus Sparkle Retreat. So there's even that as an option as well. Has Cramomatic, so I like this Cramomatic play here. I don't think you really have a choice. The hand just kind of forces you to have to do that. Has Sparkle here. Goes with Mew and Meloetta. That's great. And then you have that you can go DTE Retreat active, or you can get a switch. So lots of outs here for Ian to like get the attack off this turn. So pretty likely to pull off the attack this turn. We'll see. Gets the first 3 off the Genesect. Has a Quick Ball. Has a Mew. Does not have a Stadium, I don't believe. Quick Ball's away the Oricorio. Gonna be able to draw 2 off the next Genesect. And this is where, like, I don't know, maybe if you had like an extra Ultra Ball to work with or something, you'd be able to discard more cards. Like I said, like getting rid of the Cramomatic, getting away the Ultra Ball doesn't feel great. That Cramomatic on the Ultra Ball felt like it was necessary. But we'll see if they can get the switch, or a DTE here is also fine. Just knocking out the active is priority. So got the tower. Going to be able to draw 3 more. This is the last Genesect draw. And do they get the switch? They got an escape rope, it looks like. There's a Rotom Phone, but a Rotom Phone's not going to change much. All right. I'm about to be... I think that was their last chance. They can't draw this card off the Rotom Phone, can they? All right, so I'm about to be annoyed here. Hang on. Give me a second. Or do they have it on the Genesect draw? Okay, there's the path. All right. You never use that Rotom Phone there because you can't interact with that top card of the deck. Unless their hand is a complete brick, which I'm pretty sure it's not. Let's see if I can get more info on the hand. Unless their hand is a complete brick. Can't fully see their hand. I think they even have an Ultra Ball in the hand. Okay, so you never use that Rotom Phone there because you literally can't interact with the card you just put on top of the deck. So there's no reason to use the Rotom Phone. It just doesn't do anything. You just put it on top, and then it's on top of the deck. But you could have top decked that card anyways, or you could top deck a different card, and now you could use Rotom Phone to find a combo with the card you top decked. So this is why. I mean, this is just why Mew is one of the hardest decks in the format to play, because there are so many little actions, and using them all properly to maximize the potential from the cards is just really hard to sequence. But you never use Rotom Phone there because you're just not interacting with that card. So there's no reason to Rotom Phone. And you're not up against a deck where you want to preemptively set something on top of your deck. You don't care what Arceus does next turn. They don't play Paths of the Peak, right? If they played Paths of the Peak, then you'd be like, okay, I want to try and put a Stadium on top of my deck, right? But if they play Paths of the Peak, then you can literally hit their Duraludon, right? So they don't play it, right? You know they don't play it. So you don't use Rotom Phone there because it doesn't do anything. You can't interact with the card, and unless your hand is a complete brick, which I'm pretty sure that hand is not a complete brick there from Ian, then you would only do it because you know if you top deck another dead card, you can't draw with Genesect off the Rotom Phone anyway, so you'd want to preemptively set up a Quick Ball or an Ultra Ball on top of the deck. But I'm pretty sure that hand is not a complete brick. I think there was even an Ultra Ball in there. But if you're up against a deck that just doesn't play Path, then you just don't play around. You just shouldn't play it there. There's so much more power in just holding the Rotom Phone as a Rotom Phone. There's so much more power as holding a Rotom Phone as a Rotom Phone than playing the Rotom Phone to just play the Rotom Phone. But I mean, it's not the biggest of deals, but you should definitely hold on to it there. There's just no reason to play it there. And then we whiff the attack this turn, and any kind of attack this turn would have been great, right? And this is why actually. This is why it was so important to keep the escape rope. Any kind of attack here is great. Even if they send up their Duraludon, you get to use Max Miracle for 160 damage into it, which is still a pretty good hit. Not hitting here at all is pretty bad. Especially because now Dominic can just literally go knockout active, boss, win the game. Like, the game can be over in 3 turns here for Dominic. They can just go get their choice belt, attack with the active Arceus V-Star, knockout Genesect, boss knockout Genesect, boss knockout Genesect, and the game's over, and Ian can never win. So just having a hit this turn and just putting a Mew VMAX in your active so they can't draw a prize card this turn is a really big deal from Ian, because Ian can even like take a knockout with the Meloetta. Like, they get hit with Mew VMAX this turn, into something, take a knockout with Meloetta next turn, the opponent KOs Meloetta, and then you go KO with Mew VMAX, win the game from there. So any kind of hit this turn, any kind of attack, just having a Mew VMAX in your active actually in general was just important for Ian to do, because then Dominic would hit into the Mew VMAX, and then you could retreat to Meloetta boss KO, they go KO Meloetta, or if they go boss KO Mew VMAX out of the turn, you can go Meloetta, maybe get another KO with like a Echoing Horn, and then you go into your last Mew VMAX with another boss KO to win to win the game on that turn. But now Dominic is to be the aggressor in this matchup, and this is where this matchup gets really scary from you, is when the Arceus Duraludon deck is actually the first deck to draw the prize cards. It can get pretty scary. So we will see. Draw 5, Tool Scrappers away the choice belts. Got a big charm. Okay, so a whiff here, though, it looks like from Dominic. No V-Star. Had the opportunity, not there. Just going to get the turn chart. Okay, it's back on Ian's side now. Ian can now still, once again, get ahead and actually maintain the lead throughout, especially because I think Ian does play the Echoing Horn. So that's like a really important card for this matchup, is it allows you to like maintain your lead, and it almost makes it so like it's almost impossible to create a board state as Duraludon where they actually can beat Echoing Horn. Like, they basically can almost never create a board state where they can beat Echoing Horn. It's almost impossible. It's pretty much impossible. All right, over to Ian. So Ian's goal this turn is just to take a knockout, basically, on something. And pretty set up well to do it. Has the switch in hand now, and has a boss and a... Wasn't there a choice belt on that Mew? I swear there was a choice belt on that Mew already. Did they tool scrap it or something? Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I just missed it. All right, has the switch now. Can get the knockout on the active. Does need one more modifier. And should be good to go. Actually drew the Fusion Strike energy, which is really sick, because now you don't even have to use a modifier. You just use Melodious Echo and take the knockout here. Has the Ultra Ball. Doesn't really need to play it, though, so I probably wouldn't. And there we go, Ultra Ball away, a Quick Ball. So this is another one of those situations where Scrapper just took it off. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, they did Tool Scrapper. I was like, I swear there was one there. They Ultra Ball away, Quick Ball, and Battle VIP Pass. And like I was saying, you want to try and keep your discards cards around as long as possible. And actually, in the hand that Ian had, I don't even think you need to play anything too much further. Like, I think Quick Ball away, Battle VIP Pass probably would have been fine. But would have liked to have seen the Ultra Ball stick in the hand. Because then you could even like do something like grab a Genesect, then Ultra Ball away the Genesect plus something else. I don't know. It depends how many other discard cards they have in the hand, I guess. They might have one more in here. But yeah, I would like to have seen them play it a little bit slower. I think. All right, draw 3 more. And then I should just be able to hit with the Mew VMAX here. You could hit with Meloetta here as well, I guess, but that opens up to a hit with Meloetta next turn. So I think you just want to hit with Mew VMAX here, take the knockout, and then next turn you can go boss Meloetta KO something off the bench, and then look for Echoing Horn. So you can go basically from this point on, you can go knockout active, then boss KO Arceus V or V-Star with Meloetta, because even if it's a V-Star, you still KO it, and then go Echoing Horn a V back onto the bench, boss KO it, and then win the game from there. So we'll see what Ian ends up doing here. Yeah, they don't even extend for that last Genesect draw, it looks like. Thinking about going to the Meloetta, but I would definitely just you just want to attack with Mew VMAX here. If you attack with the Meloetta, you just lose ways to get one-hit KOs, because then they just KO Meloetta, and on this turn, probably for Dominic, you probably want to look to the boss KO on the Meloetta, because otherwise the Meloetta just kind of gets to get a free knockout. But it looks like Dominic's hand is basically dead. It looks like the Quick Ball, DTE, and the Choice Belt. Okay, there's the Choice Belt. Quick Ball, DTE, Choice Belt. So no possible way to actually get the KO on the Meloetta. It actually just doesn't have many options in general. So this should be as long as Ian can draw through the deck from here on out, it should be a pretty easy dub here for Ian. But that's why I kind of bring up trying to hold on to your Ultra Balls and Quick Balls and stuff, because the only thing that can happen at this point to stop Ian from winning is Ian just draws into a bunch of cards that can't be moved out of the hand and then can't draw more cards. I think the only thing bad that can happen for Ian here is you draw into cards, and then you can't move them, and then you can't draw more cards, and then you have to attack into their active, and then that's where Dominic can start to maybe win the game. So that's why you want to try and hold on to you don't just want to Quick Ball and Ultra Ball your Quick Balls and Ultra Balls. You want to try and keep them to an extent. There really is kind of like a balance to it. Depends what you have left in the deck and what your hand looks like, but I think too many people jump to just Quick Balling and Ultra Balling away Quick Balls and Ultra Balls, and then they just run into a hand where they can't move enough cards, and then they can't draw enough for the turn, and then they just lose because of that. Because at this point, you don't even need tablets and stuff from Ian, so you could Quick Ball or Ultra Ball tablets even or something. You want a couple of them, but yeah, DTE to Mew has a bunch of tablets. I mean, there's some options here for me, and you really just need to go boss KO the V. Or actually, this is even better. Escape Rope is absurdly good here. So Dominic basically I think Dominic has to send up the Arceus V here. I think if Dominic sends up this Duraludon, they're basically conceding the game, because then it's just 2 bosses away from Ian to win the game, unless they play like a Charon's Care. But Ian can very easily set up for a 1-hit KO on an Arceus V-Star anyways, so I think yeah. Okay, so I like this from Dominic. You send up the Arceus V-Star. You're hoping to top deck and bake both of these Duraludon VMAXs, and then somehow win the game from there. And then I like the Mew VMAX send up here from Ian. Don't use the Meloetta, just use the Mew VMAX. You can take another hit, and then you'll probably be fine after that. So it's the same thing as getting setting up Meloetta, they KO that, and then going boss Mew VMAX, boss Genesect. Now they hit your Mew VMAX, and now you can still run to Meloetta and possibly buy another turn in the game, and they have to go boss after that. So that makes sense, right? Yeah. So I like the Mew attack here. And I would I guess you could actually you could still boss KO this Duraludon on the bench, to be honest. Actually, as Ian, because you have the boss, I didn't even see Ian had the boss. You should just boss KO the Duraludon on the bench here, I think. So he knocks out the active instead. Now, both of these lines of play will probably lead to them winning. Ian will still probably win this game. But I think you may as well boss KO the Duraludon, because then if you do end up in one of those hands where it's really clunky, you know the Arceus is still always in play for you to potentially knock out in the future. So I think if I was Ian there, I would have liked to have seen the boss on the Duraludon. Because now they can evolve this Duraludon, and then you don't have a target to KO immediately next turn. You still have time to 2-hit KO a Duraludon or get the Echoing Horn combo off, but you may as well make it easier on yourself and just boss KO the Duraludon now. That way you always have a good boss target in play to chase. I mean, you can still hit this, you have all your tablets left, I think, here as Ian as well. So the situation is so good for Ian, it's hard to say one play is actually worse than the other, but I think I still would have gone boss KO Duraludon there. I feel like it gives you more, it makes it easier to win the game by a little bit, not by a whole ton. I mean, pretty much no matter what, I think Ian's gonna be walking away with this one. But yeah, it's just there's just too much good stuff here for Ian. Right here, I would just burn all the tablets as Ian, and just if you whiff the Echoing Horn boss KO, then you can just go Max Miracle, punch the active really hard with the benched Mew, and then try and go for another Max Miracle on a following turn and clean it up after that. So it should be pretty easy to win here with or without the Echoing Horn. You're just in a really good spot as Ian. And we see the hand is starting to get a little bit clogged. Goes with the Escape Rope play. I like this as well. May as well. You bring that one up, it could get stuck in the active, and then it's that much easier to win the game. But should be able to draw 3 more with this one. And then see. I think has the boss is just whiffing the Echoing Horn. Quick Ball, only a 4-card deck left, so still was able to get down to a really small deck anyway, so it didn't end up hurting them too much. Last one happens. Tower, there's the Echoing Horn, there's the boss. Yeah, they completely decked themselves out this turn. Echoing Horn, the Arceus, boss it up, knock it out. All right, game 1 goes to Ian. Sketchy opening from Ian, but hopefully in this game we don't see double Meloetta. Prize cards, nothing ridiculous. A couple, I mean, 2 modifiers being prized can hurt if you have to go through the route of KOing a Duraludon VMAX, but it's usually not too big of a deal. Because you usually don't take that route, to be honest. And then on the other side, yeah, nothing important prize as well. A boss, an Arceus, yeah, nothing ridiculous. 2 Pokemon search cards can hurt Arceus in the early turns because that's so important for you to find. But usually not a huge deal. So turn 1 Path. Okay, so they do play Path. They do play Path. But the only thing about like the Rotom Phone play anyways, and I actually just like really realized this myself recently, is if your opponent, so if you use Rotom Phone to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put a stadium on top of it, if your opponent was gonna, if you find a stadium there, if your opponent was gonna Path Marnie you anyways, you were gonna draw into that stadium, right? Like, I'm not losing my mind for thinking about that, right? That makes sense, right? Like if you use Rotom Phone and there's a stadium in your top 5 cards, you put it on top, it does shuffle the other cards, and you go over to your opponent, and if they were gonna Marnie Path you anyways, you're still drawing those 5 cards. So, unless it's the 5th, right? No, because you draw 4 off Marnie plus card for turn. So you like always see the stadium anyways. I like had this realization the other day. I was like, why have I been Rotom Phoning stadiums to the top of my deck? It doesn't actually make any sense. So like, yeah, the Rotom Phones are just really nice to keep your hands moving more so than anything, I feel like. But I had that realization the other day. I was like, it literally just doesn't do anything. It does shuffle the other cards, but yeah, it just literally just doesn't do anything at all. Like, you're gonna see the stadium anyways if it's there, and if it does allow you to like go like Rotom Phone. So like that's a combo you get. You can go phone, and phones in general are nice because like when you're drawing like 2 or 3 with Genesect, you can find that Ultra Ball, that Quick Ball to clear up your hand, or just find the optimal card for, or the card for the situation, whatever. But to specifically find the stadium, it just doesn't actually do that much, to be honest. All right, turn 1 Path here from Dominic, and gets the attachment on the active Arceus. I still don't love the attachment to the active Arceus. Could have attached to the bench Arceus. I don't hate, you have the Path, so I don't hate it as much. I don't dislike it. What if they have Path no Marnie? Okay, that is the situation where it does come up, I guess. If they have Path no Marnie, it does play around Path no Marnie. But usually you can set a stadium in your hand, I feel like, more often than not. But yeah, Path no Marnie, I guess you do want to put it on top in case, right? Path no Marnie if you don't have a stadium in hand already. Yeah, so this is like, I don't hate it. I mean, there's 1 card left in their hand. Also with the Path in play, this means they can't use, but I'm assuming the card in their hand is like a Research or a Mustard or something. Probably a Research. It'd be funny if it's an Arceus V-Star and they go Evolve Pass on the next turn. We'll see. So Ian draws into, has the tower, has a, not a great, open the Echoing Horn, which is just like, it's a good card in the matchup, but it's not a great card to open with. Can make this hand work. It is a pretty sketchy hand though. Like, it's not great. So let's see, yeah, Quick Ball away DTE looks great. I love that. Get the Genesect, you play the tablet, then you Genesect for 2, and you hope you draw into, I mean, ideally you just draw into Fusion Strike Energy plus Elsa Sparkle, but that's pretty unlikely. But maybe just a Battle VIP pass, and you can keep building from there. Okay, a Quick Ball again. Here comes another Genesect, and the Genesect train has started. Now you can draw 3 with the Genesect. There's the Fusion Strike Energy. There's a Genesect. Okay, another draw off the Genesect for a couple more. And there is a Cramomatic in the hand. Tails has a Battle VIP pass, though, so could go get 1 more Genesect. And I actually, to be honest, I don't hate going to get another Genesect here. And just throwing that down and then just drawing more cards. If it's not prize. I forget if the Genesect was prize or not. Because if you're putting on a ton of pressure with... the Genesect was maybe prize then? They have the Tower of Darkness, so they can Tower of Darkness away a Tower of Darkness here and draw 2 more. 1, 2. That is not an Elsa Sparkle, it looks like. I would, if they had a 4th Genesect in deck, I think they should have grabbed the 4th Genesect there. I think they should have grabbed the 4th Genesect there. That is true, J-Tap. If you don't see a stadium there, then you shuffle those cards, and now there's a higher chance there's a stadium there, though. That is true. Yeah, I don't know if there was a 4th Genesect there, I would have gone for it. Personally. Ooh, so Arceus V-Star, I assume that was the top deck, and then the Research was the last card in hand. So really good start here for Dominic. They should be able to basically do whatever they want. Collapse Stadium comes into play. Probably get rid of the, yeah, kind of have to get rid of a Genesect here, I feel like, as Ian gets rid of the Mew, though. So now they're going to lose their active Mew, and they're going to only have Meloetta to work with on the next turn. That could get a little bit scary. But I mean, if they get the 1-hit KO with the Meloetta next turn and then set up a couple more Mews, they should be fine. They were just asked to put their Pokemon up a little bit further, it looks like. There's the V-Star power, so they can go ahead and grab themselves DTE. Grabs a Choice Belt, but you don't need Choice Belt here to KO the Mew, so I don't love that Choice Belt grab. I feel like there has to be a better grab to get there, and I think they're realizing that right as they're shuffling their deck. I think they asked if they could change right there, and they're realizing the Choice Belt is literally pointless. So probably should have gone with a Big Charm, because Big Charm actually could make the difference here, because even if Quad Fusion Strike energy comes out from Ian, they would still need a modifier on top of that, and they're already down double or triple tablet, so they could whiff the modifier potentially. So we'll see. There's the 3 energy. Still in a really good spot though for Dominic, for sure. Definitely still in a good spot. Gets 3 energy. Gonna go ahead and throw them on the Duraludon. Get themselves a couple prize cards and cruise from here. There's an Ultra Ball, it looked like, from Ian. Maybe a Quick Ball away the Ultra Ball. Gets a Mew. Another thing with that last play from Ian, though, is like you really didn't want to tower away a tower, because like you want counter stadiums to like the collapse stadium, or if they play another path, I guess, because they didn't play in that one path. It looks like a rough hand there from Ian. Not a ton of, a couple switch cards and not much else. So I think we're gonna be going to game 3 here soon. Switch into the Mew. Could see the boss on the Arceus V to potentially stall. I think I would like to see that probably. This goes for a draw for 1. I guess still had a possibility. And then just scoops. It seems reasonable to scoop there, I think, for sure. If you bench Force Genesect, what if they boss KO Mew? Just rely on Meloetta KO and Arceus? Yeah, you could just rely on Meloetta KO and Arceus. And you also just don't have to put Fusion Strike energy on your Mew. You just put them on your Genesects. And then you can go like Meloetta KO active, boss Meloetta KO the benched Arceus V-Star, and then Echoing Horn, put another one down, boss KO that, win the game. So you just don't put your Fusion Strike energy on your Mew, put them somewhere else in that situation, so they can't KO the Mew and get rid of Fusion Strike energy, and then you can just win through Meloetta. So they have to basically go KO Meloetta, and then you have your Mews to work with after that. All right, let's peep these prize cards. Double Fusion Strike energy, double boss. Okay, so this is really bad prizes here from Ian. Double Fusion Strike energy, double boss prize. So no turn 1 knockout potential. And then on the other side, double turbo energy. Not as big of a deal if you get to the Starbirth, of course. No cheeky escape rope plays again, because they probably only play the 1 escape rope. I guess they could play more. But Ian is going first, though. This would be a lot worse if they were going second. They are going first. But the bosses being prized is the biggest thing, because they are going first. So it might be hard for them to actually just chase knockouts around Duraludons, or even around just to be able to draw prize cards. You don't even want to like hit an Arceus usually if you're not KOing it, but sometimes you have to. All right, Ultra Ball off to start here from Ian. Gets rid of a Meloetta, so I'm curious to see what the hand looks like here then if they're getting rid of a Meloetta. Got rid of a Mew VMAX as well, which is always, of course, fine. You don't really need extra Mew VMAX. Let's see what else they grab here. Can't even see. It looks like another Mew VMAX is in the hand, which is unfortunate to have it in the hand already. Okay. So they discard the Meloetta there. They discard the Meloetta to get a Genesect, but then not draw cards for the turn. So they probably should have just benched the Meloetta and then passed, and not actually played the Ultra Ball, because there's kind of no point to play Ultra Ball if you're not trying to draw cards this turn. And especially when you're giving up a Fusion Strike Pokemon, you're up against a deck that plays Collapse Stadium. You probably want to Meloetta in play as an option, or at least to force your opponent to respect your Fusion Strike energy, depending on the situation. And then, yeah, so I don't like this Ultra Ball at all if you're not attempting to draw cards this turn. And it looks like Ian is just not attempting to draw cards this turn. There's also an Elsa Sparkle in the hand, which I think could have been discarded. So yeah, I really don't like this play from Ian at all. It looks like you could have gone, get rid of the Elsa Sparkle, because you want to play this turn as if you're trying to boss KO their Arceus off their bench. That's what you're trying to play for, is boss KO Arceus with the energy off the bench. Or boss KO Duraludon that gets 3 energy from a Trinity Charge as Ian. Those are the plays you want to look for. So I would have liked to have seen like Ultra Ball away the VMAX, plus the Elsa Sparkle, play the tower, bench the Meloetta, draw some cards. Just try and see some cards this turn, set up best as possible for the future turns. Yeah, I don't really like this line at all from Ian. Just Ultra Balls, gets a Genesect and passes. This helps play around Marnie a little bit, but so would the line of play that I just described. Would also be like, well, you just have like 2 more Pokemon in play. And who knows, maybe you get a Battle VIP pass, fill your bench, drawing a ton of cards. That also helps like play around Marnie. So getting this extra Genesect in play helps play around Marnie, but that's basically all it does. And then it's like you're planning to use Elsa Sparkle next turn, which is like, I mean, there's a ton of situations that Dominic can like pull off. There's a ton of things that Dominic can do that makes the Elsa Sparkle basically pointless. Ensure you save the stadium to have an immediate answer to the path to the peak of the collapsed stadium, but if you just draw more cards, you'll probably find an out anyways, or just enough cards so that you can just attack next turn anyways as well. So there's the path. Here comes a quick ball. Looks for the Duraludon, and the biggest thing here is just going to be, do they have the DTE? The DTE is actually going to be huge here if they have it. The DTE here is going to be huge if they have it. We'll see. Has the basic energy. No, go see. All right, I like this play for sure. So, oh, oops. Where were we? Almost attaches the energy here, but instead just plays the research and leaves the option open of playing DTE. So this is actually like a big choice, big decision here. Have the option. DTE here is huge. If you get off the DTE play, like that's huge. Leaving this Arceus in the active with an energy is just like not good. Your opponent needs like VMAX 1 modifier DTE, and they just KO your Arceus, and then you lose the game. So, researches here, gets the DTE, gets the Trinity charge. Like this is huge. This is such a better situation to have than what's it called? Attach it to the active pass. Your active gets knocked out. You look at your hand, you cry, and go from there. Gets this Arceus now, which I don't really like. You don't really want 2 Arceus in play. So I would like to have seen a Duraludon grab here from Dominic, and then try and get down to double VMAX and have your board state just be 2 Arceus VMAX after they KO your V-Star potentially, right? But instead they grab this V-Star here, and now this lines up so much better for Ian to go, like knock out 2 Vs, 2 Arceus Vs, and then, or a V and a V-Star, and then Echoing Horn win the game. So this is a bad play from Dominic, I think. I don't know, let's see if they bench it for sure. They searched for it. I assume it's making its way to the bench. Yeah, I don't like this. Like, I think you should just commit to just trying to have two VMAXs set up. Just get to the double Duraludon VMAX, and that's it. That's your setup. That's all you need. You shouldn't putting more Pokemon in play that aren't Duraludon just makes it way easier for you to win the game. And you're already like, you should already be assuming this V is going down. If it doesn't, that's great, but it's probably going down. So Stadium here. Got the Ultra Ball top deck from Ian, so that kind of saves him a little bit here because they had the Sparkle in hand. I don't know what the other card in the hand is. Oh, goes with the Sparkle play. Okay. I guess that's fine though. Well, you kind of want to. The thing is, you want to try and boss KO this. I don't know what the other card in hand is besides the Ultra Ball. You want to actually boss KO this Duraludon. I do like if you're committing to the Sparkle play though, putting it in play makes sense though. What is the rest of the hand then? That was an Ultra Ball and something. I want to know what that last card is. Or 1, because now you're Ultra Balling away these 2 cards, which doesn't make a ton of sense. So this is a mistake here from Ian. I don't know what that card is, but I don't think it's ever worth playing Sparkle over. They should have immediately, just the first thing they've done on their turn, Ian should have just played Ultra Ball. Because your goal here is to KO the Duraludon V. If you KO that Duraludon V in the bench, you put yourself in a ridiculously good spot in this match. So I don't know what that last card is in Ian's hand that they really don't want to discard, but I think you almost always Ultra Ball there. I don't know what they're holding there, but they should have Ultra Balled away the Elsa Sparkle and whatever that 3rd card was in the hand, though. I think for sure. And they just go pass. Now, so now I'm really curious as to what that card is in the hand. You don't win these kind of situations from Ian. You have to be aggressive here. I'm super curious as to know what that 3rd card is in the hand that they really don't want to discard. It could be the Echoing Horn, I guess. But you can beat this deck without Echoing Horn. You just need to go knockout, and then 2 KO the Duraludon VMAX. It could be the Echoing Horn. Sitting here and not playing the game, you're not going to get a chance to use the horn anyways. Like you can't sit here and do this. Because then you can't win anyways. You just literally won't win this game anyways. Sure, you lose your horn, which is a great card in the matchup, but if they get a free hit on your Mew VMAX, the tempo of being able to utilize the horn goes down, and it doesn't even matter. And this is why it was so much more important for Ian to just try and draw cards on the first turn of the game instead of playing it as slow as they did. Now they go into this turn with like 0 options, and then they go down this Elsa Sparkle path play, and they have 0 options. Like this is like the problem with Ian not being more aggressive on their first turn. Now on the second turn, they have limited options, and then they make a mistake around that as well anyways. Like you enter this turn, you've made the decision to not draw cards on your first turn. Now you go into this turn, and now you've entered a situation where you just make another big mistake, and now you're going to get punished for it. Dominic has the switch, and then we'll just be able to whoa, okay, definitely should not play the Marnie there. Your opponent literally did nothing on their last turn. Yeah, definitely should not play the Marnie there. You have a Duraludon set up that they can't deal with. You have a Duraludon set up that they can't deal with. You have an Arceus with a DTE. This Arceus, other Arceus V, like I said, I don't love it on the bench, but I guess it does help play around Escape Rope, so maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. And you have Starbirth, don't you? Have they used Starbirth? They have Starbirth here. They could just Starbirth for anything. And instead, they use Marnie when your opponent went Elsa Sparkle and then pass. So this is a massive mistake from Dominic. Like, they even have their V-Star power, which they just shouldn't use actually as well. They should just go switch attack and keep the V-Star power. They should go switch attack here and keep the V-Star power. I don't hate the RCS V. The more I think about this, the second RCS V on the bench, to be honest, it does play around Escape Rope, so I don't hate this play here. But this Marnie is bad. This Marnie is really... You literally could go get a Research or maybe even pull off a Mustard on this turn if you wanted to. Instead, they play the Marnie, which gives Ian... Ian all of a sudden has a chance to win this game. Ian was like out of this game. They're still pretty much out of this game, to be honest. It's going to be tough for Ian to win this game. Actually, Ian could win this game. Ian could win this game. Because they could go like KO the V... then KO the V-Star, then Echoing Horn, win the game. So Ian actually can win this game, and it's actually lined up to win this game first. So now Ian can go, boss KO the V. Let's say KO the V this turn, and then boss 1-8 KO the V-Star, and then Echoing Horn boss again. Ooh, actually Ian can't do that because Ian did prize 2 boss, and one of the bosses in the last 2 prize cards. So it's actually impossible for Ian to make that play work. So Escape Rope does have to get involved somewhere here. So you could go like boss KO the V this turn, and then Escape Rope next turn. But that was a really bad, just a bad play there from Dominic. If they really wanted to see more cards, which I think they just didn't need to, if Dominic really wanted to see more cards, which to be honest, putting a V-Star in play on this V was actually not terrible. So I guess if I was Dominic there, I would like to have seen the Starbirth, and then you go get an Arceus V-Star plus a Research, and you just evolve your other Arceus V to a V-Star, and then your opponent can't get like cheap prize cards on any V Pokemon now unless they use Echoing Horn, but you have no Vs in your discard pile, so it's like impossible. And then you just play Research, and you just get to see more cards. You have more options for the following turn. So Dominic could have put themselves in a dominating position. Dominic could have put themselves in a dominant position here, but now all of a sudden, like, Ian actually has a route to win this game. Boss KO the V this turn, Escape Rope KO whatever comes up next turn, and then Horn combo on the following turn. We'll see. The hand from Ian looks like there's options. It looks like there's an Escape Rope in there, so we could see Retreat plus Escape Rope. Plays a Tablet immediately. You don't love to see that because you know you're gonna have to take a big knockout at some point. Has the escape? What are we doing here? Has the Escape Rope in hand? Should definitely be playing the sequencing this differently. I think you should just go retreat the Mew, play the Escape Rope, see what they send up, play the Tablet. Then you're still looking for the boss KO on the Arceus V, and then draw with Genesect before you use Tower, because Tower could just draw you 2 dead cards, whereas Tower's only 1 dead card. It depends how likely that is, but definitely should have been already played the Escape Rope before that first Genesect draw. Tails on the Cramomatic. Has the Quick Ball though, thin out the deck. It's looking pretty good. 1 Tablet played so far. Can go ahead and get another Mew V here. And I mean, you just want to draw cards. Like, this Escape Rope should have been played like at the beginning of the turn. Just retreat the Mew, play the Escape Rope, and then just like go all out this turn to just try and pull off the plays. That is an escape. Yeah, it's an Escape Rope, right? So that should have been used like immediately. Arceus gets sent up here from Dominic. Here comes a draw now for 5. I believe this is the second Genesect draw. So it's looking on Ian's side, you're looking for DTE plus boss on KO the Arceus V, and then next turn you're looking for but then you'd have to no, you actually, to be honest, you're looking for the 1-hit KO on the active here, but then they could evolve their benched V. Goes with the Elsa Sparkle. I mean, this never works out though, right? I don't know if Ian checked their prize cards, but there's 2 Fusion Strike Energy prize, so you just basically can't do that play. I don't know what the hand looks like, so maybe you had to do this to draw cards, but I think there's an Ultra Ball in there. So this is why, like, yeah, there was an Ultra Ball in there the whole time. So this is just, like, a massive mistake here from Ian. Didn't check prize cards, ends up punishing them. Now, they could have, like, drawn more cards. They have 1 more Genesect left, I believe. They could have just Ultra Balled away the Sparkle, kept one of those other cards in the hand, and then Genesect for 6. Because you have to take a knockout this turn as Ian. You have to take a knockout here. You can't not take a knockout. But now it's looking like Ian probably won't take a knockout. You'd have to hit DTE. So the problem with, you could still get the knockout on the active here. The problem, even though if you get the knockout on the active Arceus here, though, is that this Arceus V can evolve to a V-Star. That's why it was so important for this V to be KO'd, and why it was actually important for Dominic to try and evolve this V to a V-Star so it can't be KO'd, or you have to work that much harder to KO it, because it's almost impossible for Ian to 1-hit KO 2 V-Stars And Ian should know this because Ian should have checked their prize cards. Check your prize cards. You know you have 2 Fusion Strike Energy prize, and that the Meloetta with the easy Melodious Echo 4 Fusion Strike Energy knockout isn't available. So if there's 2 V-Stars here, you just don't have enough tablets and choice belts to KO 2 V-Stars like back to back. So you can't go like KO V-Star, KO V-Star, Echoing Horn, put a V on the bench, KO the V. You have to go KO V, KO V-Star, KO V. That's like the only line you had here from Ian was to do it like that. So even if you get to the V-Star this turn, this V will probably become a V-Star next turn, or theoretically. That's why you want to play super heavily for the V KO this turn into the V-Star KO next turn. But it didn't check the prize cards here. Went with the... I mean, the Fusion Strike Energy wouldn't even matter here because there's no Meloetta on the bench. So it doesn't even matter that there's... what's it called? It doesn't even matter that there's... What's it called? Because there's no Fusion Strike Energy on the bench. So we just get to see a hit here. Or Psychic Leap. Psychic Leap's actually pretty solid here. But it doesn't get a KO. So you get the Psychic Leap, but then you're going to send up something that gets knocked out. Dominic draws that first prize card. And probably going to send up the... what's it called here? But like Dominic's deck probably plays 4 boss. So just like a boss KO on this Mew V makes things extremely awkward. And it actually has the V-Star power. So we just know a boss play is going to happen this turn. We know a boss play is going to happen this turn. And you're going to knock out that Mew V, leaving Ian with basically nothing in play. And Dominic definitely wants to get to, like, you want to retreat or switch into the Duraludon as well. You don't want to leave a Arceus in the active. So you just can get, like, you just get the boss KO on the Mew. You know, there's no potential for a Mew VMAX next turn. It's correct for Ian to Psychic Leap there and hope that the opponent just doesn't have this play, but I mean, they have Starbirth, so it's going to happen. So maybe you should just hit the Arceus V-Star, but that feels terrible. Like, nothing feels good there from Ian anymore once Ian committed to the Elsa Sparkle play, nothing feels good at that point as far as plays go. And there's a concede from Ian. So, yeah, I think Ian just, like, didn't see the lines of play there for sure. Just didn't see what they should be doing in that one. So, yeah, Dominic ends up with the dub in that one. Dominic made a huge mistake by playing that Marnie, though. There was a huge mistake by playing that Marnie earlier on. They should just Starbirth, evolve the other V to a V-Star, and then play a Research that turn. And then you put yourself in a position where it's like almost impossible for the Mew player to do enough damage unless they get to a quad Fusion Strike board state. But you have, like, time to probably deal with that. And then also, yeah, it's just not in a good spot. I'm not going to do it for that round.